Kratos, son of Zeus, the Ghost of Sparta. He is the man who killed the gods and dragged all of Greece into ruin. He did not destroy Olympus for power, he did it for vengeance. Vengeance against the gods who betrayed him, used him, and shattered his life. Hatred reshaped him. Piece by piece, Kratos lost what remained of his humanity, becoming ruthless, merciless. And now he runs. Not from enemies, not from gods, but from himself, from a past he cannot erase. So the question remains, how did this happen? What turned Kratos into this? And what philosophy governs his life? Kratos was born and raised in ancient Sparta, a city-state in Greece infamous for its brutal warriors. From childhood, Spartans were trained to endure, to fight, and to kill. Weakness was not tolerated. Those deemed unfit for battle were abandoned on the mountainside, forced to survive alone. In Sparta, life was not a right, it was a trial. As the illegitimate son of Zeus, Kratos grew up rejected, even by the gods themselves. In Greek mythology, he does not begin as a hero, but as the Ghost of Sparta, a man shaped by violence, war, and suffering from the very start. And that is where everything begins. Kratos was a Spartan warrior, trained for battle from the age of 8. He often trained alongside his brother, Deimos. Deimos bore markings, tattoos that stretched across his body. Kratos pushed him relentlessly, not out of cruelty, but as an expression of love. He wanted to show his brother the fire of hell, to prepare him to become the finest warrior. But the gods were watching. Zeus heard a prophecy. One of his children, marked with a tattoo, would one day kill all the gods, including him. And so the search began. Ares and Athena captured Deimos, tearing Kratos' brother from his life. The loss left a scar deeper than any wound. It was here that Kratos' cruelty took root. He witnessed the gods, with all their power, claiming his brother as if he were nothing. From that moment, Kratos made a vow to himself, to grow stronger, to never again be defeated in battle. To honor his brother, Kratos carved the same markings onto his own body. Those tattoos were not decoration, they were a vow that one day he would defy every command of the gods of Olympus to find Deimos. And he did. Kratos eventually found his brother in the underworld. When they met again, he fought with all his strength not against him, but against the fate that tried to separate them once more. Kratos succeeded. He freed Deimos and brought his brother back. This time, he swore he would never lose him again. But their reunion was brief. When they faced Thanatos, the god of death, Deimos was killed. The brother he honored, the brother he endured hell to reclaim, died. Because of him. Kratos believed it was his fault, yet at the same time, he knew the truth cut deeper than guilt. If the gods had never taken Deimos, if they had not been so terrified of prophecy, his brother would never have suffered. He would never have died. Kratos placed the blame where it belonged, on the gods. From that moment, vengeance became his purpose. His rage had a target. This loss is believed to be the breaking point, the moment Kratos became colder, more ruthless, and utterly destructive. A man willing to kill anyone who stood in his way, even the innocent. He learned that she had been transformed into a horrifying beast, and Kratos was forced to kill her. In a short span of time, he lost the last remaining family he had. And all of it traced back to the gods, to their actions, to their interference, and to the pressure they placed upon his life, whether intentional or not. But this was not Kratos' greatest loss. That loss came earlier, the event that earned him the name the Ghost of Sparta. There was a time when Kratos rose to become a Spartan general. On the battlefield, he was unstoppable. He led his armies through countless wars, winning brutal victories against rival forces. With each triumph, his pride grew, and so did his hunger for power, until one day he faced an enemy greater than himself, outnumbered, outmatched. For the first time, Kratos believed defeat was inevitable. Desperate to survive and unwilling to accept loss, he cried out to Ares, the god of war. Kratos offered his service in exchange for victory. Ares accepted. The god slaughtered Kratos' enemies with ease and gifted him the blades of chaos as a mark of his servitude. Armed with divine weapons, Kratos personally executed the enemy commander and claimed victory. For a time, Kratos served Ares faithfully. He led assaults on villages, slaughtered the innocent, and spread chaos in the god's name. Not out of loyalty, but because war was all he knew, and because power, once tasted, was impossible to abandon. Under the influence of the god of war, Kratos grew increasingly brutal. And it was here that he began to lose his humanity. One day, during a raid on a village devoted to Athena, Ares acted in secret. He relocated Lysandra and Calliope, Kratos' wife and daughter, into a nearby temple.
Quickly.
They've built this temple to offer prayers to Athena! This entire village stands as an affront to Lord Ares! Burn this village! Burn it to the ground!
Blinded by rage, Kratos stormed the temple.
Beware, Kratos. The dangers in the temple are greater than you know.
Inside, he slaughtered everyone in his path without hesitation, without mercy, consumed entirely by fury. Only when the bloodshed ended did the truth reveal itself. Among the bodies lay his wife and his child. The hatred and desire for vengeance that had taken root when he lost his brother had now led him to the greatest loss of his life. His cruelty, his rage had stripped him of awareness, and in that blindness he murdered his own family. Yet even then, Kratos placed the blame on the gods. And this time, Ares did not deny it. Ares admitted what he had done. He justified it as necessary. A final act meant to sever Kratos' remaining ties to humanity, to strip away love, attachment, and weakness. In Ares' eyes, this was how Kratos would become the perfect warrior. Shattered by horror and grief, Kratos left the bodies of his family to be burned within the temple. And in that moment, he abandoned his loyalty to Ares, the god of war. The village oracle, who had once tried to stop him from entering the temple, now cursed him. She bound the ashes of his dead wife and child to his skin, forcing him to carry them for eternity. Their ashes bleached his flesh white like a spectre. And from that moment on, Kratos was no longer just a man. He became the Ghost of Sparta. As the series progresses, Kratos grows increasingly disillusioned and enraged by the treatment he receives from the gods of Olympus, especially while he serves them. Their manipulation, their indifference, fills him with hatred. Slowly, he becomes numb to the lives of others. When a man spends his life fighting monsters, he risks becoming one himself. And Kratos does not suffer only once. After breaking his oath, Ares commands the Furies to hunt down the Ghost of Sparta and force him to serve the god of war once more. Kratos is captured, imprisoned, tortured. For 2 weeks, his body is broken. And during the torture, and throughout his journey afterward, his mind is assaulted by illusions. Again and again, he is forced to witness the deaths of his wife and child, relentlessly, without mercy. At one point, Kratos begs the gods to free him from his nightmares. They refuse, and in that rejection, Kratos attempts to end his own life. The pain becomes unbearable, yet even in death's embrace, the visions do not fade. They follow him. They haunt him. Kratos is eternally cursed to remember his crimes, the horrors he committed, and the suffering he endured. Throughout the entire series, Kratos is never truly happy. He is tormented without end, experiencing nothing but pain at every step of his journey. Even 200 years later, in the Norse realm, the memories of his past continue to torture him. We are never shown whether the nightmares ever cease. It is possible they never did.